hanging out with John Cisna, who has got an interesting story to tell that is affiliated with McDonald's. We're at the one that's located right off of Winchester Road. Good morning there, John.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good to see you, buddy.
Thank you.
You did something that's, I think, a lot of people are going to be surprised by.
Mm-hmm.
This was a challenge that came from your students while you were teaching, correct?
Yeah. It actually, all my classes have to do a semester project.
Yeah.
And in the semester project, the kids can pick any subject they want as long as it revolves around the biological sciences. They have to create a hypothesis or a question, and then using the scientific method, have to either prove or disprove it.
Right.
So I had 3 kids that I knew were going on to school and college, and I said, hey, how would you like to try to prove or disprove the hypothesis? Is it possible for a person to become better off eating nothing but McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 90 days? And that's how it got started.
Okay, so the theorem is I'm going to eat McDonald's. You volunteered yourself, or did they volunteer you? How did that come about?
You know what? I was the perfect specimen because at the time I weighed 280 pounds. I had a 51-inch waist. My cholesterol was 249. My triglycerides were 156. My LDL was 170. I wore a size 48 pant. I mean, I was a heart attack waiting to happen. I was the perfect specimen to embark in something like this.
So, 90 days?
90 days was the first part of the experiment, yep.
Right.
And in 90 days, first of all, the kids, I gave them 2 parameters in this experiment. Number 1, they had to keep me on 2,000 calories. But more importantly, I made the kids track 15 different nutrients of everything they fed me, and they had to try to keep those in line with the recommended daily allowances of the Food and Drug Administration. So in the first 90 days, the kids were able to put together 56 different combinations of foods from McDonald's that stayed as close to those parameters as possible.
So it's not just caloric intake. You're talking about staying away from empty calories.
Oh, absolutely.
Eating things so you get your nutritional recommended daily allowance. And was it that difficult, you found out, when you began? How was it like first 3-4 days into it?
Well, anytime you go on a diet, the first 2 days, the first day they fed me the meal, I not only wanted to eat the Big Mac, I wanted to eat the box it came in. So it's really a struggle. But after the first couple days, like any diet, it's a whole lot better. People ask me all the time, didn't you get tired of eating McDonald's all the time? Well, I didn't, because the kids did such a great job of mixing the foods up. I didn't feel like I was eating the same thing every day. So in that regards, no, it wasn't difficult at all.
Yeah, so at the end of this, the changes start to happen. You're losing the weight.
Yep.
Feel better too, I assume.
Oh, I had to have felt better. And in the first 90 days, after eating nothing but McDonald's, I'd lost 37 pounds. That cholesterol went from 249 to 170.
Wow.
The triglycerides went from 156 to 80. The LDL went from 170 to 113. I'd lost 7 inches off my stomach, 4 inches off my hips. But what's amazing is eating all what Morgan Spurlock in Supersize Me has convinced the world is a killer.
Right. And I was going to get to that because, this guy, but again, I don't know any reasonable person who looks at that documentary and go, well, who would do that?
Well, the whole United States and the whole country has looked at that. And as a science teacher, I would never show Supersize Me. I saw it a couple times, but I thought, what is the educational value of a man who eats uncontrollable amounts of food, stops exercising, puts on weight, and then blames the food for the obesity problem?
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah.
There's no wisdom in that method whatsoever. No reasonable person would go about that. So I don't know exactly what he accomplished other than,
making a lot of money.
Making a lot of money, right. But now the thing is, we'll get to this when we come back, but the McDonald's folks, how did they find out about it?
Well, that's interesting because, you see, nobody from corporate McDonald's knew about this experiment. The only one that did, when I put this together, I went to one of the local let's try that again. I went to one of the local owner-operators, and I told him what we were doing. I said, look, I'm a teacher, don't make a ton of money, can you help me? And he thought enough of the experiment, he actually sponsored the entire experiment. But corporate McDonald's knew nothing about it. Matter of fact, the first time they knew anything about it was when they saw me on the Today Show with Matt Lauer. And that gave validity to the experiment because people realized this was not a McDonald's ploy. This was a simple experiment put together with results that, unfortunately, the world thinks is opposite of what it should be.
Now, we're going to continue our talk with John here. Again, we're located at the McDonald's, located right off of Winchester Road is where we are today. More with him in just a bit, guys.